Hi guys and girls around the world, My Space Secrets here. It is the 10th of March 2010. Hope you're all going well wherever you are. Now there's been so much happen in the world, and I must say that this Middle East crisis is having a huge dramatic effect on the price of crude and the markets this year. And as things are happening so fast, it's even surprising for someone like myself. And if you think there's a rebellion and uprising in the Middle East over there right now and are waking up in these regions, just wait until you see what happens in the US and what's coming for the US and other parts of the world. You see, people are sick of their situation getting worse, and they're sick of these rich leaders who seem to just get rich while other people are getting poorer during and after the financial crisis that has played out. Right here now in 2011, you really have to ask yourself, these criminals on Wall Street, are they getting justice? They're basically the same as thugs, murderers, or lowlives out there in the streets that get their kicks from doing the wrong thing time and time again. They've stolen millions, probably not, let's say billions, from the hardworking people out there. And yet these are the guys that hardly get a slap on the wrist. If you're a criminal and you sell drugs out there, you get caught, you're going to go to jail. But these guys have stole billions from the hardworking Americans, and what do they get? Basically a pat on the back and promoted to chief of staff, and high fives as you walk through the revolving doors of the White House. White collar crime these days, it seems, is no longer a crime. It's more like a business. Now myself, I'm actually quite of a movie buff, but recently I saw a movie or a documentary called Inside Job, which basically explains and goes into great detail about the financial crisis back in 2008. If you haven't seen this movie, this documentary, I suggest you go and do that. It's done tremendously well. It's a great story, directed by a man called Charles Ferguson, who was the director, and he even won an Oscar for Best Documentary. At his acceptance speech, what he said was actually quite interesting. Actually, let's go over now and have a look at exactly what he said as he accepted his Oscar.
Forgive me, I must start by pointing out that 3 years after a horrific financial crisis caused by massive fraud, not a single financial executive has gone to jail, and that's wrong.
Now, I totally agree with him 100%, and he doesn't buy the excuses and the big boys on Wall Street sticking up for each other. And when you do actually watch this documentary, Charles Ferguson has an interesting way of not interviewing just the radicals out there, the extremists. The people that he is interviewing are the guys on Wall Street with suits and ties on. These guys are on the inside ring. They've been part of the Wall Street environment for many, many years, making huge amounts of money. And their reaction to Obama and the financial reform bills that are on the table are basically saying that it's a joke. So for these criminals, life goes on. They're probably winking at each other as they walk past each other in the lobby while the rest of us suffer. How is that fair, people? How's that fair? How's that a good sign for the future going forward? Please, you need to go and watch this documentary if you haven't. Charles Ferguson has just done a tremendous job on explaining what has been happening. And yes, I know a lot of the great listeners that we have here, they're awake to what's going on. But please, if you're not sure right now, you've heard this video for the first time, go and watch that documentary Inside Job. You'll be flabbergasted. It's excellent. We're not affiliated with this movie or make profits from recommending the movie itself. I'm just saying it's really well done. It's a great watch. It's very in-depth by a director that knows his stuff and wanted to get the truth out of it, both sides of the story. It's well done. So good job to Mr. Ferguson. And I guess the great thing about it is it's going to be archived forever, so people in 10 years can go back and have a look at what was actually happening right now. And that will be important, because these guys think crime does pay, and it seems to have paid very handsome for them, hasn't it? Anyway, I want to ask you one simple thing today, and you put your comments below. The question is, do you think the US government is doing enough to stop this US white-collar crime, US white-collar criminals such as those responsible for the financial crisis. That's it for today. Thanks very much for joining with us. This is My Space Secrets signing off. Don't forget to check out our site, www.forecardsfortomorrow.com. God bless, take care, and have a fantastic day. Okay, bye-bye.